On 15 June 1215, in an obscure field in England, King John reluctantly signed one of the most famous documents in the history of Western civilization, Magna Carta. Heralded as the first written contractual document that limited government power, it is proclaimed as the foundational document of the Western world and seen as the beginning of the destruction of power's advantage over people's rights. Lord Denny, one of the most celebrated 20th century English jurists, declared it is the foundation of freedom of the individual against the arbitrary authority of the despot. It has had such an impact on Western civilization that you can trace many U.S. and English laws directly to Magna Carta. Our constitutions, no taxation without representation, due process, and defense against arbitrary government power can trace the roots directly to Magna Carta. But was it really the beginning of the common man's freedom and liberty? After all, Clause 1 states that it was for all the freemen of a realm and their heirs forever. Unfortunately, the truth is that the Magna Carta was not written to ensure the freedom and liberty of the common man. It was written for the rights and power of the English aristocracy. If you analyze the document as it was written instead of how we now read it, you find that it was not really the beacon of liberty and freedom that we think it is. The meanings of words and phrases such as freeman, liberty, and rights are profoundly different now than they were in 1215. Like ancient Greece and Rome, the term freeman did not mean the same as it does today. In 1215, England had two classes, the free and the unfree. The Magna Carta talks about the freedoms of the archbishops, bishops, abbots, earls, barons, foresters, sheriffs, stewards, servants, bailiffs, and loyal subjects. These people were the free. Not found in the Magna Carta are references to the unfree, the serfs, also known as villeins, a bonded tenant that could not leave the land they tilled without consent of the baron. These were the people that truly needed freedom and liberty. In fact, of the 63 rights and privileges guaranteed by Magna Carta, 61 benefited the aristocracy, 2 the church, and 1 stated that all fish and wares were to be removed. None benefited the serfs, which constituted roughly 50% of the population. I would also add that the reason for the Magna Carta was not for any noble cause such as freeing the oppressed, but it was forced on the king because of his excessive taxation on English aristocracy and his illegal detention of his subjects and confiscation of the lands when they could not pay the taxes. Tired of this, the barons assembled an army and marched against the king. As soon as King John found he could not defeat the combined might of the barons, he decided to agree to their terms and sign Magna Carta. De Jovenel stated in On Power that the English aristocracy, unlike the French, understood how to work together for the common interests, and the Magna Carta was truly written in their self-interest. Some of the common misperceptions of Magna Carta's guarantees of freedom and liberty for all people are: first, it did not guarantee a trial by jury, but it did guarantee the barons would be tried by their social equals. Excessive fines imposed by the king could not deprive a man of his livelihood. This benefited only the barons because their serfs could continue to till their land and fill their coffers. It guaranteed the rights and privileges of the people. This pertained to property rights and privileges, and since the serfs did not own land, it was meant once again for the barons. It restored the rights and liberties to those that were unjustly taken from them. This ensured the castles and lands the king had taken away from the barons were returned. How long did the Magna Carta last? Within months, having gathered enough forces to challenge the barons, King John, with the support of the Pope, declared Magna Carta null and void. After he died in 2016, his son, Henry III, signed the document and re-signed it again in 1225 in exchange for new taxes. Each new king affirmed the document until the Assembly of England's Parliament. Although Magna Carta did nothing for the common man's in terms of liberty and freedom, what is important is the fact that it was the first time a king surrendered his authority to his subjects, and is seen as a symbol of victory against tyranny and the first step towards the democratic society we enjoy today. The myth of Magna Carta asserts the barons followed Galatians 5:13, which states that Do not use freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly. We now know the myth is not true. History sometimes takes a strange road because it is the myth of Magna Carta, not the facts behind it, that Western civilization has used as the beacon to guide us to the freedoms and liberty we enjoy today. Thank you.